This content is AI generated for informational purposes only and should not be directly used for clinical decision-making.
Hello, and welcome back to the Neurosurgery Hub Podcast. I'm Dr. Aris, Senior Attending Neurosurgeon.
And I'm Dr. Elara, Research Fellow. Today we're looking at a fascinating new study from the 2026 edition of Neurology India titled Saraj Retractor, a novel retractor system for deep-seated intracranial surgeries and its comparative analysis with conventional retractor system.
This is a topic that hits home for anyone who spends time in the OR. When we talk about microneurosurgery and minimally invasive neurosurgery, we are increasingly dealing with very specific high-stakes pathologies, things like intraventricular tumors, deep intracranial hematomas, and complex posterior fossa tumors.
Exactly, Dr. Aris. And the paper makes a very blunt but true point. For the past many decades, conventional retractor systems have been in use without any significant modification or innovation. We've been using the same tools while our surgical techniques have become significantly more refined.
It's an interesting gap in our technological evolution. The authors highlight that deep-seated lesions, by their very nature, require bidirectional retraction of normal overlying brain tissue. If you want better surgical access to a tumor in the ventricle or the posterior fossa, you have to manage that overlying tissue carefully.
And that brings us to the star of the paper, the Saraj Retractor. The study introduces this as a novel retractor system specifically designed to be suitable for the ergonomics of neurosurgeons. I think ergonomics is a key word here that we often overlook in the middle of a 12-hour case.
Absolutely. If the retractor system is cumbersome, it doesn't just affect the surgeon's comfort, it affects the entire surgical corridor. The paper emphasizes that the Saraj system provides this necessary bidirectional retraction without disturbing microscopic and endoscopic vision.
That's a critical distinction. Usually with conventional retractors, there's a trade-off. You get the retraction you need, but the hardware ends up crowding the field, or the blades are angled in a way that creates shadows for the microscope or physical obstacles for the endoscope.
Right. And in minimally invasive work, every millimeter of vision counts. The study's comparative analysis suggests that this system addresses the limitations of those conventional systems that haven't changed in decades. By focusing on maintaining a clear line of sight for both the microscope and the endoscope, it supports the current trend toward more keyhole or minimally invasive approaches.
The paper specifically mentions its utility in intracranial hematomas as well. When you're trying to evacuate a deep-seated clot, you need a stable corridor that doesn't shift, but you also need to be able to move your instruments freely.
It's about that balance between surgical access and tissue preservation. The Saraj Retractor is positioned as a solution that honors the ergonomics of the surgeon while maximizing the visual field. For the residents and students listening, think about how often you've had to adjust your posture or the microscope angle just to see around a retractor arm. This study suggests we don't have to accept that as a baseline anymore.
It's exciting to see innovation in the basics. We often focus on the latest lasers or AI, but as this paper in Neurology India shows, reinventing the retractor, a tool we use in almost every deep-seated case, can have a massive impact on the ergonomics of neurosurgery.
Very well put. The Saraj Retractor represents a much-needed update to a stagnant area of our toolkit. It's a reminder that better surgical access and better vision are the foundations of successful microneurosurgery.
That's all the time we have for today's deep dive. We highly recommend our listeners check out the full comparative analysis in the 2026 volume of Neurology India.
Thanks for joining us on the Neurosurgery Hub Podcast. We'll see you in the next episode.